doing this number, like wobbling my head, and the minute that all 3 green lights go on, it just goes, picture taking. I was like, oh!
Welcome back to season 4, episode 3, and today it is all about decoding eye cream claims.
It's gonna be a juicy one.
First things first, I'm Victoria.
And I'm Gloria.
And this is the Chemist Confessions podcast, a human conversation about all the skincare science we talk about. So let's just get into it with a bit of a brand update.
Yep. You'll notice that this is becoming a more frequent occurrence.
We're doing it, guys.
Yep. We have updated the format to our podcast so that it's a little bit shorter each episode. We still have all the juicy goodness of the news, the meat, the animal corner. It will just be broken up in slightly different ways so that we can keep this going on a weekly basis.
Yep. And on top of that, in terms of brand news, we finally launched our actual formal sample deluxe kit. For those of you that have been part of our journey since the beginning, we had the box of goodies, and for a period of time we had the intro kits, but no more. We actually have the real experiment sample kit. It is the kit. And show it off, Gloria. What does it look like? What does it have?
It's a little drawer kit with a set of 4 minis that will give you close to the complete Chemist Confessions experience.
Yes.
We have a mini of our cleanser, the Blank Slate, our favorite hydrating water gel Aquafix, our Mr. Reliable, the 2.0 version, and the Better Oil in this quadrant of minis. On top of that, if you go to our website, the experiment is sold along with the Acid Mini of your choice because as we said time and time again, we really think of this exfoliation, keeping up skin turnover part to be such an underrated yet essential part of your skincare routine. We really think of it as that next tier up to setting up your skin fundamentals.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, with everything we create, you get a little guide. So just like if you guys even remember the Travel Buddy, which is a bit of a throwback, we definitely want to give you some ideas on how to mix and match. And so I'll go ahead and share my personal anecdote. You guys will see that in terms of my routine, I definitely live the concrete jungle life where I'm layering Aquafix and Mr. Reliable, and that's obviously comes before a clean face using Blank Slate.
Yep. And for me, my scenario, thanks to my dry skin, is always firmly in the Yeti ski trip camp. So I will be layering everything after cleansing my face. Aquafix and Mr. Reliable can sometimes be enough for me during a regular not so dry day, but if it's a little cooler, if I'm traveling, or if California wants to go back to its normal weather, I need a couple drops of the oil mixed in with Mr. Reliable to give me a little bit more nourishment.
Yeah, for sure. So please use the promo code CCPodcast2023 to get 15% off your order, including the experiment. We really hope you enjoy the products and just enjoy learning about your skin through some, I would say, very good formulas. Yeah.
If you need more inspiration, any more layering guide, how to incorporate the acid into this kit, feel free to message us, DM us, email us, whatever you need.
Yeah. All right. Enough of the brands news. It's time to get into the real news.
In the news, first things first, Gold is now sold in Ulta. For those of you not familiar with Gold, they are founded by our friends Trinity and Issei. They do a lot of fabulous blends of, nutritious superfoods that you can add to your smoothie or drink alone. We actually met them back in the Target Accelerator.
Very cool people.
Yes, super sweet, down to earth people. We're so proud of you, you guys, and where Gold is today. So if you're new to the brand, check out Gold. We were lucky enough to really pilfer a bunch of samples of their turmeric blend.
Fact.
Yeah, back in the Target Accelerator days, and they were really great, so check them out.
Yeah, and I would just add that I think a lot of people, when they hear turmeric, they're like, that comes with a taste. And I think that's the beauty of what Gold created, is very easily mixable into a lot of things, including coffee and teas. So yeah, it's awesome. Awesome to see our accelerator friends and their growing journey. All right, next. We have an update. And for those of you who might wonder why we might have a line that talks about Mr. Elba, it actually starts with an episode last year where we had mentioned that Idris Elba and his wife will be launching a skincare line. And the description, their very cryptic description, was basically that their line is called Sable, as it's Idris Elba's last name backwards. Sable Labs, the new line, is a gender-neutral line that prioritizes ethical supply chain and reducing the use of toxic ingredients and unnecessary packaging.
So, for those of you curious, this was season 3, episode 4, where that line had us really puzzled. So we decided, we were just goofing around, so we were like, Mr. Elba, Mr. Elba.
Excuse me, Mr.
Hi,
Elba,
we just have a few questions. For example, when you say reduce the use of toxic ingredients, what are we keeping around that's toxic that you just can't get rid of?
Also, when you say ethical supply chain, what unethical supply chains have you seen in cosmetics? I would really like to know.
Yep. It was kind of a running joke for a while. I'm sure some of you are very confused when they're like, who's Mr. Elba? Are they talking about Idris?
Yep. So we have a follow-up to that. And so they actually did launch their skincare line. So today we're actually going to focus on one of their products, which is their Black Seed Toner. And they definitely do I guess we should say they have done a clinical, which we'll go through now.
Yep. So the toner's ingredient reads something like water, polysorbate 20, ascorbyl glucoside, glycerin, panthenol, phenoxyethanol. When we're teaching everyone how to read ingredient lists, phenoxyethanol is your definitely and most 1% marker. So you can expect everything under to be under 1%. So you have a bilberry fruit extract, ferulic acid, sodium hydroxide, tocopherol, which is your vitamin E, so on and so forth, and a lot of other ingredients. What we wanted to take a closer look at is the clinical study. The study features 27 subjects, female and male, and that is all skin types over 7 days. 7 days is a pretty
Very short
study.
Yes.
I do find some of the claims to be interesting. So the brand uses the term significant benefits for brown spot reduction, hyperpigmentation, freckles, and melasma.
Methinks when they write significant benefits, it's not actually a clinical data point.
Yeah, it's a little mystifying.
Yes.
Like, I can't tell if this is self-perception, if there is a expert grader, I'm guessing in 7 days, you're not going to see anything super significant quantitatively with either expert grader or image analysis. And significant benefit feels like one of those kind of
I made it up.
vague words.
It's an adaptation of something else. Yeah. And it's definitely not common when you are sharing clinical study claims, even for consumer perception. So I also just want to add, along the bullet points under this clinical study, they write things like benefits of reduced porphyrin and pore visibility. And it's like, I don't know what to make of that.
Benefits?
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I do like that they dropped the significant here. It's just some benefits to poor visibility.
Yeah, so definitely a more questionable clinical study, but you got to read the asterisk part, Gloria.
Yes. So what surprised us, we were like, oh, okay, this is a pretty classic case of a consumer perception. We're guessing consumer perception study. We were a little bit mystified by some of the lingo and how it's only a 7-day study. But what really got us to do a double take is the quote at the end. Great to see a clinically proven, highly efficacious toner, delivering visible results by boosting radiance and skin appearance in just 1 week. Siwa Long, FRSC, President of the Society of Cosmetic Scientists. Oh!
Wait, are cosmetic scientist reviews a thing now?
We're cool now? We are mainstream now?
We can be quoted by Idris Elba?
Mr. Elba, come on our show. We too are cosmetic chemists. Come on over. We have so many questions for you.
Yeah. Okay, so despite all of those questionable claims. We should say that, for a toner, it does seem like there is this decent amount of ascorbyl glucoside, which is a plus. And we should also say that the toner itself is $37 for 150 mils. I would say it's more on the mid-tier price range. They also come with a refillable pouch. So they're pushing towards sustainability, which is great.
Take that, non-ethical supply chain. I see you.
Really showing that. I'm proud of you. But there is one thing that I kind of had to laugh at. They do sell a travel bag to hold all of their products. The travel bag uses 100% PCR. It has kind of like the plastic like window, and then uses bamboo material for the cloth. The bag is $30.
Wow.
So I was like, man, of all the things in their line, that bag, holy crap.
Does it look like just one of those like freebie bags?
Let me show you, Gloria. So if you were to go to their shop, boom.
Sick. Looks great.
Yeah, so it's a pretty standard travel bag. But other than that, I would say that, if I guess at this point we should start ranking celebrity brands.
We should.
Yeah, and how they launch. I wouldn't say atrocious.
I'm not offended by the medium price point. Still surprised by the quote from the president or ex-president of the SEC.
If you're looking for a cosmetic chemist to give your product a thumbs up, let us know.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm personally not someone that uses a toner or thinks a toner is a must-have in your routine.
Yeah.
So like Victoria mentioned, it has, for a toner, it has a decent amount of active ingredients. So not offended by it at all. I think at the end of the day, it's not the type of product, toners aren't the type of products you go to expecting hard-hitting efficacy anyway.
Yeah.
So as far as the product goes, not very offended. Curious to see more. Call us.
Yep. All right, cool. Moving on.
Yes.
So Cetaphil's dabbling in AI, Gloria?
Yeah, so apparently the theme / the word of the year is AI. And everyone does it slightly differently. And Cetaphil decided to take the image analysis route. And if you go to their website, they have a little QR code for you. You can scan it. I thought it was going to be an app, but it really just takes you to a web page to take your picture.
You just submit a bunch of photos.
You don't even submit; they just like process it right on and then give it to you on the screen.
Okay.
And I did this really quickly right before recording, and I'm gonna show Victoria how this does. So, first of all,
whoa.
I'm gonna show everyone on the screen real fast. I look really sad.
I was like, you could not look more excited.
I was very sad because it was a little finicky. It will give you a little bar that's like lighting, pour, tilt, center your head better. So I'm like doing this number, like wobbling my head, and the minute that all 3 green lights go on, it just goes picture taking. I was like, oh. So that's why I look incredibly sad with this picture.
What that reminds me of? It reminds me of when you try to deposit a check and you don't actually know when it snaps
exactly.
the photo. And you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, no, we're doing this.
Yeah.
So it kind of, based on the image, it marks the zones on my face for certain a lot of different conditions. What I'm surprised about is 2 things. First of all, it kind of calls out a lot more things than I was expecting.
Rude.
Secondly, what I'm surprised about is the quality of the selfie picture isn't even the most aggressive that you can get with a camera. Like it almost looked like I had a filter turned on, which isn't the default setting of my phone. So I don't know why the software puts a filter on it, which kind of takes away the point of image analysis.
I was gonna say, I mean, Gloria, you don't have a lot of pores, but you really have no pores.
Yeah, no.
In this photo. Also,
it's like,
do they not like your freckles?
Oh,
so rude.
Yeah. So, when I was doing this, Victoria isn't around, so I stole her little packet of seaweed. So I got a flake of seaweed on my face. And it was like blackhead. I was like, nice.
Yeah, but in these photos, they don't even show like your normal skin tone.
Oh no! It's completely
It's
white.
messed up.
Yeah, so I don't
Okay.
really understand. But the things I can pick up is blackhead, whitehead. But like I said, it kind of picked up the seaweed I was eating as a blackhead.
We'll highlight a circle.
We'll highlight the actual image on the screen. And then it says that I am blemish prone. But even on the image, they highlighted, I think, a grand total of 5 spots. And the white spots, I'll be honest, like, I don't know what it's looking at or what it's picking
Dude,
up at
move
all.
aside. Let me show you blemish. The AI is about to learn today.
Yes. And then it highlighted one tiny spot on my cheek and then tells me that I am redness prone.
That's adorable. It's like a little tear.
So I'm like, okay. And then, and then it highlights my face and tells
You've
me
gone
that,
Avatar.
yes, it avatarified my face and said,
Yeah.
I am hydrated. I have no idea what this is based on. It says some of my cheek is less hydrated than the rest of my face. But I don't know how it's doing it because the raw image looks, again, very filtered. So I don't know what counts as dry, what counts as not dry, or what counts as dry, what counts as hydrated in the image. And last but not least, it says that I am very oily in certain patches, which I can assure you I am most definitely not. So,
All right. So the AI needs more learning.
yes, and then picked up 4 freckles and said that I had dark spots. But it circled my face and said I'm radiant. So anyway,
Wow. Well, guys, here's another example of why AI and skincare, Gloria and I really
makes us
struggle with.
chuckle a little bit. Oh, I also analyzed my shape, my cheek shape, and says I am in fact not sagging. So yeah.
Thanks, Cetaphil.
Yeah, the
Cool.
interface is a little early.
Yeah.
And I think what's funny is like, at least when I was using it, once the analysis done, it wasn't, I kind of appreciate it. I think the point at the end is they will try to recommend products for you.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. It just showed me a bunch of these things. I'm like, cool. But if it says, oh, I'm blemish prone, but it didn't say, oh, you should use this if you're blemish prone. So it was just kind of like, okay, thanks, Cetaphil, for the info. But
You know, I'm about to go off tangent here, but I have an existential thought with all of these AI things is like it just wants us to not feel like we know anything about ourselves. Cause you already know all of these things.
Yeah.
We already know our skin. I just feel like they're just creating these things to make us feel less confident about our skin history knowledge, which is not good.
yeah, it's even worse than 23andMe taking 3 weeks to tell me I'm Chinese. Well, yeah, I knew that. Thank you.
Wait, but you got an update telling you that you're also seasick or you have motion sickness.
I'm like, well, yes, I knew that when I threw out my breakfast up a mountain. So thank you.
Oh my god. All right. Anyways, thanks for going through that, Gloria,
Yeah,
for
so
us.
check it out if you're curious.
Yeah.
It's another one of those in execution we don't really know what
Yeah.
it brings to the table, but it's kind of fun. So
Let us know if you have more success. But anyways, we're gonna move on. So
Yep.
we've got another launch. This one's interesting. This is by Winnie Harlow. She launched her very sun-focused brand, K-Skin. Right off the bat, we haven't tried any of these products yet. But we do have plans to do that for our sunscreen content coming up soon. I really love that she did not shy away from chemical filters. It just feels like every celeb, the thing to do is to launch a mineral, and it's just like, meh.
yeah, everyone wants to be that next non-toxic brand.
Exactly. And she's also got a lot of tinted formulas, which I personally really love. So I'm actually really excited.
Yeah, I am really excited for their tinted lip SPF.
Yeah.
I am a sucker for owning 3 too many tinted lips something, but last year we did a run of testing out different lip SPFs,
Yes.
and we find lip SPF formulas to be a little bit meh.
Yes.
So really excited to see her take on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so other than that, we've got one last article we want to share. This is from CNN. The title of it is Why You Should Add Glycerin to Your Skincare Routine, according to dermatologists. The only reason why I wanted to highlight this is because as chemists, we can tell you we love glycerin.
Glycerin's great.
Glycerin goes in everything.
Yup.
Glycerin is in everything.
When you're bored, you put it in. That's what she said.
All right. Anyways, all right. The thing that I had to call out here is they do have recommendations of products you can use with glycerin. And while that's not actually very hard to find, the thing I didn't love is that they're actually recommending you buy pure glycerin. So, Gloria, how do we feel about this?
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's a notion that your products are mostly water, therefore like brands are trying to sell you mostly water, you should buy these ingredients neat. But the reality is concentration matters on every ingredient. Yep. You don't want to use something neat just because it increases the irritation potential.
Totally.
Glycerin can be fine if you use it 100%, but the reality is it feels really gross. It works so well that you're just going to wedge a bunch of glycerin into your stratum corneum, which is not that great. It can be considered as a penetration enhancer, which you never want to use neat. So it's just kind of meh all around to recommend that.
Yeah.
As far as glycerin-based products on the market, or glycerin-containing products on the market. By the time this episode comes out, we will have done a collaboration with our friend Lisa at Experiment Beauty.
Yeah.
Her product has 30% glycerin. Our Aquafix is another hydrating serum that uses 5% glycerin in addition to a blend of other great humectants. So yeah, there is a range of great products on the market to choose from. If you want to add glycerin to your routine, chances are you're already using some glycerin.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, don't fall for the FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, just like Gloria said, check the IL. And the beauty of glycerin is it is great. It's efficient. It's cost effective. But it is it's only as good as the formula it's in. And the best way to use glycerin is actually in a blend of humectants. So, yeah. Otherwise, I think that's it for the news.
That concludes the news. So let's move on to Decode That Claim.
Oh, it's a juicy one.
So this episode, or the meat that's coming up next week, is going to be all about eye creams. We're tackling it head on.
So tired.
It is. It's a rough one. So in preparation for next week, we are going to focus on decoding an eye cream claim, specifically Pharmacy's new Wake Up Honey. I don't know why I said it like that.
Wake up, honey.
Honey. Wake up, honey eye cream.
We're recording this on a Friday, if you can't tell.
Honey, it's your new eye cream knocking. Anyway.
Okay. Yes. Pharmacy's Wake Up Honey Eye Cream.
Honey.
All right. So this formula says it has 3% vitamin C. This is the THD ascorbate vitamin C derivative that's oil soluble. It has encapsulated caffeine, an upcycled cranberry peptide, and also a proprietary buckwheat honey blend. Sorry, did not make that sound more exciting, but yeah.
Yes, there's all right.
Anyway, so 3% vitamin C. We are strictly going to just look at the claims because they give us some really good ones that we should discuss. And we realize based on there's 3 claims, which we'll show here, we can break them down into tiers of quality claims.
Yep. So this is by no means an exclusively pharmacy thing, but this product just encompasses everything we're going to go through in more detail next episode. That is just a great way to highlight some of the difficulties maneuvering this landscape. So category 1 of claims you will see in the eye cream field is a kind of faux clinical benefit claim. And in this situation, pharmacy claims that 100% showed a brighter under eye area with a little asterisk. And the asterisk goes, this is based on clinical testing on 35 subjects after 1 application. The asterisk, it's kind of small, so we're just pulling out for you so you can see it here.
Yes. And the reason why we say this is kind of a faux clinical benefit, where your red flag should immediately start like waving a little bit, is because it's after one application. And when you hear that, you should immediately start thinking instant. And you should start thinking that there's something on the along the lines of a makeup powder that might be giving that benefit. Because if you think about long-term skin benefits, there's no way you could achieve that overnight.
Yep.
So when you actually look at the IO, you kind of dabble in the middle. Suddenly you see, boom,
Boron nitride.
boron nitride. And what is boron nitride, Gloria?
Boron nitride is a powder.
I'm grabbing boron nitride.
Boron nitride. Welcome to the podcast. Who are you?
Thanks for coming, boron nitride.
Explain.
Thank you.
We call Idris is busy, so we invited boron nitride instead.
We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. So boron nitride is a powder that is known for its visual capabilities, and it's a very fine, very soft powder that gives your skin just a little bit of a white cast, and we mean that in a very flattering way. It kind of has this soft focus effect. So
I'll show it here. So it's kind of, and it might be hard in this light, but it kind of has that, when Gloria says soft focus, the powder is kind of like almost blurring,
yes,
the imperfections of my skin, right?
The molecule size is really small, or I shouldn't say the molecule size, the powder size is very small. So boron nitride is really good about kind of filling the cracks a little bit, creating that illusion of a slight blur. And it's actually a great ingredient. I really like having a little bit of it in the products. I don't mind it as much. I think people will hear me sometimes complain about silica. That's also another soft focus powder that also has oil absorbing properties
that you'll find a lot in eye creams too.
Yes, and to me that silica is very drying on my skin, but boron nitride doesn't have that same issue. Not knocking on this ingredient, thank you for coming, boron. But that is where you're getting that claim from.
Yes.
So at first reading, 100% show the brighter under eye area. It might make you feel like you're brightening your under eye area over time, but this is definitely not the case here.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're able to see, but in the reflection of the light, there's a little bit of almost like a brightening shimmer that's happening. And so that's also can contribute to that brightness and just the blurring of, like, let's say you have uneven pigmentation under the eye. So yes, so we would say this is a faux clinical benefit claim, more like a makeup effect.
Yes,
claim.
Makeup instant effect claim.
All right, category number 2. We call this a not so clinical claim. And the claim is up to 100% reduction in dark circles.
All right. I love the graphic here because the up to is like a whisper. It's like 100%
Up to
reduction in dark circles. This one comes with 2 asterisks.
Yes.
The 2 asterisks mean that this is based on a clinical testing on 31 subjects after 8 weeks. After 8 weeks, awesome. Now we are talking about long-term use. The benefits that you're really, let's be honest, what you're really looking for by using an eye cream. This is my gripe with it. Up to is such a...
It's not really a claim.
It's not, because you don't know. Out of the 31 people, you can expect this to happen to one of them. What does an average improvement look like? How many subjects see this improvement? We don't know. And those are arguably the more important info to know.
Yeah. So a lot of times when you run clinicals, you get like a percentage of improvement, but you also get a percentage of subjects that that showed significant improvement. And these kind of go hand in hand because it can give you an idea of how many people can reap that benefit. And that's very important because there are skin types that might do great with, a certain molecule and might do nothing for a lot of other people. So this is why, we just think this claim, it actually doesn't tell you very much.
Yeah, not at all.
Even
and
though it has a 100% number.
I even kind of take issue with the 100% number. What does that mean? I honestly don't think it's a realistic expectation for anything involving dark circles.
Totally.
So when it says 100% reduction, I kind of want to say show me the picture and or show me the number. So yes.
All right. So we're not going to flame pharmacy anymore because they do actually have category number 3, a legit clinical claim. And so this claim says 97% showed reduction in puffiness. And this also leads to, is linked to the tiny print that based on clinical testing of 31 subjects after 8 weeks. And we would say this is a legitimate claim.
Yes.
The 97% is actually the thing that we wanted category 2 to have, but didn't.
Yes, exactly that. So this shows us that most people, and we will say that even though this is the last claim that pharmacy makes, this is what you should expect from this eye cream.
Totally.
Is consider this a puffiness reduction cream. We wouldn't really, based on the other data available, we wouldn't expect it to really take down your dark circles.
Yeah, we know it kind of sounds like you have to read between the lines, but we can definitely tell you that in the eye cream category, you really have to read between the lines to honestly make sure you really are, whatever you're purchasing does come with a solid insurance policy. The eye cream category is wild. Yeah, it takes Gloria and I kind of like both of us to kind of like read through it to see what exactly
This episode took us a long time to put together.
Yeah.
So yeah, enjoy.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for Decode That Claim. We are going to wrap up this episode with some top Q&A we received. Starting with, we're going to just start right off. First question. I've been struggling with retinol since my last pregnancy. Before, I could tolerate tretinoin daily. Now I can barely tolerate 1% retinol every other day and have days of dryness and peeling. What should I do?
Great question. We just did a whole blog post and a few short videos on this content. Definitely don't feel like you have this FOMO or this necessity of going all the way back up to tretinoin or 1% retinol.
Yeah.
The reality is they work and you need to make it work for you. Our take on skincare is to always prioritize your skin barrier. Having some dryness and some peeling in the transition period is normal, but if you feel like your skin's not acclimating to retinol well, that you're constantly in the state of irritation after
battling it.
Yeah. After a month or 2 months, then that concentration isn't working for you anymore, and that's okay. We will recommend dialing all the way back down to say a 0.1 to 0.3%.
Yeah, and I can definitely tell you, skin is not, it doesn't have necessarily a memory in that like you use tretinoin, you go off it for a couple years, you go straight back into it and skin's going to be just fine,
Hello, old friend.
Yeah. Skin also is adapting with the changes, and that's kind of I think the pain point of the retinoid family is, yes, there's always a little bit of work up front and it's totally fine to do significantly less. So don't feel like you have to force 1% retinol if you've been battling it with it for too long.
Yeah.
All right. So next question. This is also a retinol question. This also has to do with our previous episode. We get it. So the question is retinol in wash-off products effective? I've seen the Olay body wash with retinol have good reviews, but I'm skeptical. And I also listed the IL here so that you guys have it. You'll see that the first ingredients I'll read off really quickly is water, petrolatum, sodium, tridecyl sulfate, sodium chloride, cocoa betaine. Then all the way into the middle, you get, or actually, no, I shouldn't.
Right after the fragrance.
After fragrance, you get niacinamide, retinol, and retinyl propionate. Yeah.
So the long story short is we never recommend using rinse off products with actives to expect that same level of efficacy as a leave-on.
Totally.
It's just not going to be the same.
Yeah.
And it's not the best vehicle for delivering that benefit. I don't think I've seen a retinol face wash. I have seen retinol cleaning cloth before. It's not going to be the same as a retinol serum at all.
Yeah.
I will say for body, you aren't expected to, you shouldn't have to use the same levels as your face treatment. That said, same thing apply. I wouldn't expect this body wash to actually deliver the retinol benefits. However, part of the reason why we think this body wash may have good reviews is actually that petrolatum is in the second spot.
True, totally.
And there are actually studies out there that show when you have petrolatum, which sounds really heavy-handed, which it is a little bit, you can have this in your face wash or body washes, and it will leave your skin a little bit more hydrated afterwards. So that is actually probably the most heavy-hitting thing here.
Yeah, and I went down the rabbit hole of looking into this body wash in particular. I didn't see any notes about using sunscreen, so I don't necessarily think Olay thinks its retinol is going to do anything.
Oh, if I have a sunscreen, I'll drizzle some retinol in there for you.
Yeah, and I also just want to say, like, it kind of got me thinking. I have noticed that there's a lot of retinol being put into a lot of other things outside of skin. So I've noticed that, you know, Dove also has a shampoo with retinol.
What does that do?
I don't know. True Botanicals had this like phyto retinol vitamin A booster, and you guys might be wondering, what is that? They're supplements. That's right. Vitamin A retinol supplements that you take. Also, ask me how much it is, Gloria.
How much is it, Victoria?
For 60 of these capsules, it's $120.
Wow! Exciting!
So, yeah, the retinol train is moving just as quick as the retinol alternative train.
You know, you can get vitamin A vitamins as regularly priced vitamins. It don't gotta be $120. Well, here's a thought.
Oh, that's a thought.
You can eat carrots, other vitamin A rich products.
Yeah. So we digress, but we did want to address that, and totally agree. You know, if you're ever wondering if you just want to get more out of your skincare, and you're like, should you be optimizing your cleanser? You don't have to. You can save a penny there.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that ends episode 3.
Weekly episodes is a thing.
Gloria, where can they find us?
You can find You can find us at chemistconfessions.com. You can comment directly on this video or DM us on Instagram at chemist.confessions.
We hope you enjoy this episode. We will see you for episode 4, which is all about the eye cream meats.
It's going to be a hefty one.
All right, enjoy, guys.
See you next week.
Bye.